There we go. I do believe we're live. So I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. It's nice to have you here again. It's nice to share a moment with your loved ones. It's a pleasure being present. I do believe It is a pleasure being present with you. Today's stream topic is going to be about being stuck in a story. Being stuck in a story. The story that I think I'm stuck in is almost like a narrative. It's like and it's increasingly more difficult for me to think about other stuff. I was thinking today, retrospectively about all of the previous streams I've done. Hey, Chauvin is here with us. Love you so much. Retroactively thinking about all of the previous streams we've done. Thinking about all of the moments that I've been right here in this moment with your friends before. And about all of the versions of me that I was in those before times. And I was thinking about it from the perspective of, am I better? Am I more entertaining? Am I more interesting? And the story I seem to be stuck in is the answer of no. No, I'm in fact not better. I'm in fact not more entertaining. Quite the contrary. Hey, Emily. Appreciate it. It's nice having you here. So yeah, there is this experience of feeling like I'm stuck. Feeling like I could be better in my stuckedness. Right? Very much so from the perspective of the novelty of the information that I share. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about it as well. It's really hot. Maybe I'll continue to talk as I go in. Might have to move some things if I can as well. Okay. I'm probably gonna get many a droplets on me pants. But this is helping cool me down just a little bit. That is nice. I feel that. Me too, for sure. You too, Emily. Getting stuck in our own stories. And I don't know necessarily if I know how to transcend these stories necessarily. Maybe that is the thing that we're here to consider together. Maybe there is some sort of psychological trick we can employ. Huh? You know any psychological tricks? Shape our own patterns. You know any tricks for us? Huh? You have any life hacks? You know any of them secrets? Instead of Jaju saying a good morning, beloved friends. Hope you were having and will have a lovely day. Drive by Lovins today. I'm a busy, busy raccoon this morning. And I'll be thinking all of you. I'll be thinking about you too, bro. What you doing? What you doing, you silly? What you doing, you silly creature? Creature. You silly creature. Oh, you're so silly. Okay. Hi, Adam. It's nice seeing you here too. Oh, slap them bums, slappy, slappies. Slappy, slappy, slappies. Put the doggo aside. What story am I stuck in? I'm stuck in the story of being a person. Jeebs. I keep waking up every single day and I'm like, whoop, look at that. I'm still a human being. I'm still human being out of here. Maybe there is something to be said. Maybe I'm not the first one to think about this as a centering concept. Being how we get stuck in stories. How as we grow up as children, young people, teenagers, and eventually adults, there are so many stories being told to us at all times. At all times, like every single thing, person, brand is trying to tell you some sort of story. And as we age, as we progress down this path that is life, we start to find we get stuck in some of these stories. We get stuck believing stories about ourselves that might not even be true, but in believing that story about ourselves might bolster, might support, I want to say our own downfall, our own lack of support, to say it in so many ways. Is that by us? Do you hear that? Nice swarm of bees just flew over me. Intimidating. Yeah, stuck in stories, right? Thinking about it like the swarm of bees that just flew over me, for example. It's that they are stuck in the story of following their queen. And sure, that you as an individual bee might not want to be left behind. So it might be good for you to be stuck in that story of following along. But maybe there is something to be said about this psychological fractal of forgetting and then remembering that we're stuck in some story. How can we reevaluate the stories we're stuck in? I've been getting guidance to just go out and experience more, and that if I do that, clarity will come along somehow. So hopefully it does. Hopefully it does indeed. I'm willing to feel into that, Emily, and say that it's good advice, honestly. Just getting out there is definitely good advice for letting yourself think a little bit outside of the normal box. It is that is kind of the thing I'm trying to talk about, the whole thinking inside of the box kind of mentality. Right? Most of us probably think inside of the box. So it could be helpful to think outside of said box. When we're stuck in stories, it means we've let external narratives and our own internal chatter settle into fixed identities, like bees following a queen without questioning if there is a sweeter flower elsewhere. Reevaluating these stories involves a process of mindful awareness, curiosity, and creative rewriting. Here are some ways to start. When you catch yourself stuck in your story, remember to read yourself through the eyes of a friend or a loved one. That is good advice. I've been thinking about that, weirdly enough, exactly like that, Jovan. So when I think about the story of self that I'm in, that I'm stuck in that way, I think about what other people must think of me. And it's not always helpful, right? It's sometimes a little bit iffy, not always clear how I'm supposed to feel about the things that I think about other people thinking about me. Also, it's funny you're talking about this today because just a moment ago I was thinking how it's funny that we're a soul. We think that we want to experience being human, but then as a human, we long to remember what it's like to be formless. As above, so below, into infinitum. We are seeking to experience, I think, first and foremost, Emily. Maybe that's why, and that's a story that I'm stuck in, right? Maybe that's why we can feel like failures as well sometimes. It's because we come into this world as people, and then we are told a story, again, the story narrative, about what experiences are worthy, what experiences are good, what experiences are desirable, and then we can monetize that desire to people. You see, when this experience, just sitting here, hearing birds, hitting my Dynavap, is as valuable as an experience as going on a cruise ship to my soul, because it is on the ride for both of those fractals, right? It doesn't really discriminate. I don't think there's any weed in this Dynavap right now. Potentially. Cultivating awareness. Cultivating awareness. I feel like this is an apt point to consider this as a point. Yes. To have cultivated awareness. To not hit your Dynavap while it's empty, technically speaking. I'm so hot right now as well. Yes, right. Oh, yes, going on a yacht. This is the experience you're supposed to have as a person. Oh, this is the greatest experience, being on a yacht. Oh, going on a lavish vacation, going skiing down mountainside. This is ideal vacation. If you're not having this experience, then your experience sucks. This world tries to tell us. Don't get stuck in those kind of stories. Pause and reflect. Begin by noticing the stories you tell yourself. What narratives were planted during childhood, adolescence, or from cultural influences? Mindful observation. Noticing your emotional responses when a particular story is in play. Sometimes our gut reaction signals that a story isn't serving us anymore. The story that's not serving me anymore is the one of worry, the one of stress, that things are not going to be ideal. And I keep noticing that non-ideal things happen, and then I just continue with my life, right? It's like I cannot exactly pause time and just suffer in that non-idealness. It's kind of like, okay, the non-ideal, and then continue. Scott Nesbet, gosh, I remember watching one of your first Reddit live stream just before your really long fast. Somehow you popped up in my mind this morning, and this brought me to search to see you again. Scott Nesbet, you know, I did promise back in the RPAN days even that I'm never gonna stop. I'm gonna continue streaming indefinitely. And it has been a challenge, and it has been fun, and it has been a growing experience. It has been a story we're stuck in, we can say. Right? And in that way, the fact that you're here right now joining, after we've had this potential hiatus, right? The experience away from makes it so much more worth it that I'm doing this, bro. It's nice having you, Scott. I hope you're doing well. What story are you stuck in? If you want to give us some perspective on your life right now, and it can be a good story. You can appreciate being stuck in a story as well. Challenge assumptions. Asking yourself, is this story really true for me, or is it a borrowed script? Yeah. The story of worry, I think, is a borrowed script, right? Something we become convinced of at some point in our lives, thinking things are not going to be fine, becoming convinced of the fact that things are not going to be fine, even. Exploring the origins. Look back and consider where this narrative came from, who or what influenced it. Recognize that many of the stories were crafted by external influences that might not reflect your current reality. It's interesting that we're going down that rabbit hole because I feel like that is actually where my inspiration came from for today's stream, right? Very much so. This desyncing of the old stories and the new stories that our parents, our uncles, our elders in that way come from a world where they were being told certain stories, right? Certain stories in their world were not necessarily true, but accepted because there wasn't in the same way the means to disprove. And then things changed. The internet came alongside it, these cellular devices, these computers we can put in our pockets. And that gave all of us a lot more information, a lot more story, to put it in today's stream topic. And as a result, right, as a result of this story that we now get to tell ourselves, it is one of those things that kind of form a little bit of a sense of dissonance. The difference between what I know of the world, the story, the collective, this place that I live on, right? This planet, this society, this era, this technology, this etc. etc. The story to me seems very vast, right? And it's not something that I alone can necessarily grasp by myself, but I can understand parts of it. And in that way, the parts of it that I understand, I get stuck in. And then again, backtracking to those who came before us, to those who are our elders, they spent their whole lives preparing for a world that no longer exists. Right? They're stuck in a world that no longer exists. The things that they knew, the things they believed, the way in which they interacted with the world, the assumptions they could make about how things would be, about the difficulty curve of certain things, is completely disconnected to reality at this point. Right? And in that way, them being stuck in that story can be detrimental to our collective, because them being stuck in that story, erroneous as it might be, causes us as a collective to have to accept certain things, to have to suffer certain things. The word history means his story, meaning how information was passed generation to generation. And in that way, Scott, a history is written by those who won, right? History is written by those who survived. That's like one of the caveats about our history as well, is that it is a matter of a projection. Is that the word that I'm looking for? We as people project a lot. I already got mosquito bitten again. I feel pretty cracked. Feel like I'm stuck in a loop sometimes, you know. And that loop being thoughts of the future. And then a ceaseless preparation of my present moment so that when the future comes, I'll be ready for it. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's necessarily healthy. That's the real thing. Dang, that gave me chills. Something I said, Emily? Maybe. Getting stuck in stories. And now we're collectively stuck in the stories of those who have won. And those who have won also control our media, control our tech companies, control our internet infrastructure. Yeah, we are living in the future. We are definitely living in the future. And in that way, it is a story. The future is a story we've been told. Right? And the story that we've been told about the future hasn't always been a good one. If you think about our traditional media, the future is usually pretty dystopian. History was written by those who survived or won, right? As soon as you think about that, you're like, oh, all I know about history is probably not that right. Yeah, maybe not that ensued. Trying to get my comments to load up again. There we go. What if you are just stuck in a chapter of your story? That's a great point to bring into our minds as well, actually, Scott. I appreciate you doing that. Because that is in part what I was almost sharing as my centering thought in the yoga class today. That if you feel like you're stuck in a current narrative in your mind, maybe see it as you are optimized. Maybe see it as you said, you are not stuck in a story, but stuck in this chapter, right? In a story, but stuck in this chapter, right? And sometimes it's an uncomfortable chapter. Maybe your favorite character is going through a. You can't just, I guess you could, but run away. And again, you could, but then you lose out the narrative. You lose out on the rest of the story. You getting stuck in the story in that way is a good thing. Yeah, I feel that, Scott, seeing it from that perspective. Getting stuck in a story, getting stuck in a good book feels good, like you're engaged. You're actually enjoying the experience of being transported to somewhere else. Maybe there's something to be said about the feeling of stuck being a bad thing as well. That we don't particularly enjoy feeling stuck. We don't particularly enjoy being stuck. And maybe there's something to be said on the other side about our willingness as a species, as people, to continue moving. Questioning the narrative, reflecting on your current reality. Deconstruct and reframe. Breaking down our narratives. Identify the parts of the story that feels limiting or outdated. What part of my story is limited or outdated? Maybe the part of me that feels shame for being a human body. I don't know if I feel shame for it necessarily, but I do feel limited by it. Limited by my shame of it. How do I reframe the story of my body? because I'm aware of it, right? Like my nose itches, my ears are hearing sounds, my skin feels itchy when frickin' mosquitoes steal from me. I have to brush my teeth and comb my hair. Something that also comes along with so much stuff. Having hair alone, yes. Like having hair as a story, the amount of stories we've been told about having hair, about our society, the judgment of self and of others. Gee, so much fucking bullshit. Mm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to upgrade that story. I am very much stuck in the story of being a person that is myself. All right. I wake up every day and I look like this. And this vessel is aging, slowly but surely. And I am looking forward to technology that ceases that. But at the same time, I don't know if that's going to change things either. If I get to the point where this story that is my body plays a smaller role because I've almost optimized it out of my mind. As in, my eating behaviors, my exercise behaviors, my biological processes are so well known and accounted for that I don't have to think about it anymore. It's almost like once you've done the work, right? Maybe you were supposed to exercise today. Maybe you have a goal to exercise today. And then you do the work, you exercise. And then you finish your exercise and then you go about your day. And then by the end of your day, in reflection, you get to feel that sense of, I've done it. It's been done, that having had exercised. I have had my story. I have had grown. Have had experience. It's almost like, and this is the way my mind is registering right now, that the story that I'm stuck in is I want to be able to experience things without the experience changing me. Almost down to the extreme, right? I want to experience time without aging. That's basically what I'm saying, right? And I wonder why I've been stuck in that story for so long as well. And I don't know if I want to be unstuck from that story either. So there is something about that too in my mind. Well, I remember when you fasted, you said how tired you were of abusing your body. So you took mindful action. The last time you saw me during the Arpan days, I was probably a lot more overweight as well, you know? Like I still have some extra body fat, but I have been taking better care of myself in that way. But not, I'm like, I still can't just like hit a button and reverse my aging. You were stuck with mindless eating. I was. And I'm not mindlessly eating nearly as much. And I'm not eating as many calories as I did back then either. And I remember coming back from China when I was, starting the Arpan streams. It was like pretty recent for me. So at that point, I was still battling with reducing my weight that I had gained while being on that side of the world. And it was an experience. It was a process of trying to unlearn certain behaviors. Unstucking myself, if you will, from certain behaviors. My sweetie dogger. Let's see if there's more for us to consider. Instead of thinking that I must follow the crowd like a bee to the queen, try reimagining yourself as a bee that occasionally explores beyond the hive to discover new sources of nectar. This reframing can open up new possibilities for self exploration and growth. I'm considering how veering from the traditional path can help, if it can help me grow, if it can help me self express. I think it does help me self express, right? Me kind of veering from the pack has made me who I am, has given me the chance to be positioned the way I am as well. But the thing is, I still require the hive, if you will. I still need a place to put the honey or the nectar. So there is this coming back to, which is inevitable. Write it out. Journaling or creative writing can help you articulate alternative stories that empower rather than confine you. This is one that I have tried as well. It's almost like manifestation. A dream. It's nice having, yeah. It's like manifestation, where you essentially write about the world you want to see. Right? Like I wake up in my home feeling safe and content. I get to get up and appreciate my space. Looking out the window, I see a beautiful world outside. It looks healthy, it looks vibrant, it looks lush and green. It looks like there's things living out there. I get to move through my home and appreciate good food that's good for my body, that I don't have to feel bad about eating. And then after having enjoyed a meal, I feel contented, ready and energized to do something meaningful. Make art, go out with friends, to experience something together, sit down and do some meaningful work in the creation of something for someone else. Getting to do that, getting to share that with you friends, and then getting to go to sleep to build even more. That's the future that I envision for us, and we're not that far away from it. Good morning, Dream 2. Thank you, Emily, for blessing our friends of your highs. Yeah. What a life. Living in the year 2025. Certainly interesting times. Am I in a pack? A part of a pack? I don't know. You're a part of this one, at the very least, if you want to be. We're talking today about being stuck. Pac-Man. Yeah, Pac-Man is pretty stuck. He has to eat them ghosts just to be okay, pretty much. Experiment with new narratives. Act in ways that challenge your old story. This is a pretty good one. If you believe you're stuck, try a small experiment that shows you can be adaptable and resourceful. Weirdly enough, I don't even think it's weird. I think that's just what one of you friends shared right at the start of the stream. That was the narrative, that if you feel stuck, go and do something else. Go and get out, go and experience something. Watch out for the ghosts. Hey, Kiefer. Dear friend, always, always act in ways that challenge your old story. Doing small experiments. Huh. I'm thinking about uh, the cringeworthiness of stuff. You know. You know, I mean that certain things feels pretty cringeworthy. Breaking your pattern can make you cringe, especially when it relates to egos, because your ego spends its entire existence trying to convince others of its existence. And then when you do things that are embarrassing or counter to what your ego has been putting forth in the world, I'm taking ticks off of this dude. Then suddenly your ego feels like it's under attack, right? Because it's been trying to make clear to the whole world who it is this whole time, and then suddenly you act in a way that's maybe not perfectly in line with the way your ego thinks it's supposed to act. Man, being a doggo must be hard. I can't imagine how hard it must be if you didn't have humans didn't tend to you. Leave my little friend alone, you filthy creatures, causing him harm. Some of them almost like try to embed themselves into his flesh. I think I need to get a pair of tweezers. He's very chill, at least. I'm not hurting him. Melt that under attack is the ego. Oh, absolutely, bro. Maybe I can try one more time. Again, I really dislike the ticks. And this one is now in more pieces than it was. I need to go get a tweezer or something. See if he's gonna just chillax. No, you need to chillax, bro. You need to stay knocked out right there. I'm gonna come back in a second. Yeah, meow. Hello. Come here, babesies. Come hither. Got a pair of tweezers. I got myself a popper. I'm just gonna quickly finish up this one. There we go. There we go. Painless, yeah. Completely painless. Wonder if there's more to excavate. Sorry, doggo. Frickin' tick's hurting you, I see. Shame. Still so much gunk left under. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby. Those ticks went deep on you. There you go. For some reason, the ticks that find him, instead of just biting onto his skin, they like dig themselves into his flesh. I feel so bad for the little dude. I'll make goat's milk now. Are they ticks? They are. Here's a farm doggo. And shove them here. Jeeps. How bad those other ones were. I'm paranoid and I want to check him completely. Oh, found more underneath your toes. Can't hide them from me, bro. No, you can't hide them. To take them off. I know, it's uncomfortable. I know, bro. It's not fun. But they're still there. No, no. No biting my fingies while I'm trying to help. Me, that also doesn't help, unfortunately. There we go. There we go. We got another one. We got another one. There you go. Yeah. We're winning against them critters. No, no, no. Chillax, chillax, chillax. It's chill. It's so chill. You could just be chillaxing, and I'll just check here for you. No, 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 no. It's okay. It's so chill. It's so chill. It's very. I don't know. It's calm. It's calm. We're chillaxing. We're fine. We're chill. Things are so relaxing. So relaxed. We're relaxers. Oh, it's so calm. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. No, 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 no. We're actually chillaxing. Hello, Pippi. Can we check you too, Pepperkis? There's another one. No, 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 no. No. Let's check a pepper too. Let's check if this has something on a Pepperkin. Yes. Trying to debug my dogs. Alright. Maybe that was a detour. But something my mind got stuck on. Something my mind's been stuck on. He's never been quite that chillax for me to take care of him. He's such a brave boy, yeah. That little pup is getting so big, so fast. He's basically his own dog at this point. That's the way I articulate that. He's now gone past just being a pup and he's becoming his own dog. He doesn't always have to follow everyone else. Sometimes he'll just do his own thing. It's cute to see. He also really does have this habit of sleeping on his back, which is super sweet. Yeah, they are. I look at it a little different. Like the ego doesn't think, it responds to protect our survival. I'm pretty sure. It's true, but again, the way it allows you to survive is by convincing you that you are real, that your ego is in fact something, right? It keeps you stuck in that story. That's its job. It needs to. Because if you stop believing you are who you think you are, you might stop feeding yourself. Kind of vibes. Oh, because milk getting so big so fast. Such a brave boy. I appreciate you friends loving him too for his efforts. Being a doggo. I think it's only bad if you have people that don't care about you. Even then, even then, right? Dogs make packs when people stop caring about them, and they'll start taking care of each other. It's pretty cool, don't you think? It's pretty cool. I think it might be getting close to the time where we end this vertical live stream. Only for the fact that I don't want to feel stuck in a story. Yes, totally. That's what's happening. One of the stories I've been feeling stuck in, since we're on this topic, is feeling like I don't know what to say. There's a part of me that feels like it's experiencing some sort of block. And that's okay. But it's still something I feel. It's like, how much more is there for me to say? To experience, to think about, to explore, to experiment with. How much more is there? Is it all the time? I'm not exactly sure what you are referring to. Is it all the time? Or is it situation? Okay, oh, you were talking about the feeling that blockage. I think it's more situation specific, right? Where if it's with people, it's a little bit easier for me to engage with. Maybe that's it. You know, like there has been a little bit less for me to engage with uh, in stream. So maybe that's in part why I feel like I'm a little bit stuck. It's because it's only my thoughts that I'm considering, relatively, right? The concentration of which. That's something to think about. Thank you for making me think about Kiefer. I appreciate you. I'm going to do those situations require you to speak. This one does. This situation requires me to speak all the time. I think that's one of the things as well, is that I am pretty comfortable being quiet. It's not really a big deal to me. It's not something I'm uncomfortable in. However, when I'm here, uh, speaking is required because it would be even more unentertaining if I were to not. I want to show you the flower. This is it. I didn't do comes to the whole color correction process, because I felt like the original colors and light was beautiful. You have to engage, I understand. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm not stuck in the part of it that I don't feel stuck in the part of having to engage. I feel stuck in the part of wanting to engage, but not always knowing how to, not always knowing what to say, not always knowing what's going to bring the most value, what's going to be appreciated, what's going to be useful, what's going to be a net good for the world, right? What's going to bring more love into the world. So yeah, sometimes getting stuck. Boat of today. The boat of today. We wake up in the same boat, though some call it a ship, some a raft, some swear they're drifting alone. We draw lines on the deck, claim corners, refuse invitations. We point across the divide. That's their side. That's their feast. And so we stay hungry, not letting the table reach us. But the boat moves as one. It does not sail separate winds. It does not care for the borders of man. What is this day but an open deck? A chance to wonder, to listen, to step past the lines we drew in fear, to taste the stories waiting for us if we just listen. We think today belongs to us alone. But look around. We've billions of hands on deck, 8 billion waves carrying us towards tomorrow. This story we're in, maybe that's a way to finish this vertical stream, is a collective one, whether we realize it or not, right? All of us are a part of this story at the same time. And all of us are a part of it and telling it in the same way as well. Pushing forward the fact that we want it tomorrow kind of vibes. How different our todays are. Mine is just still at the different part. I found some food. Good. Bless you, bro. May you be nourished 10 times over. Love is true. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. I love that. Is that yours? It goes alongside my flower. The flower is 100% mine. But the actual poem is but my ideas. I do employ the knowledge of the world. If we're gonna sugarcoat it, I employ the knowledge of the world as an assistant in helping me write a piece of poetry that I feel is going to resonate with the person. I used to write them all myself, but I couldn't justify spending 2 hours a day on poetry alone, plus the hour that it takes me to make the flower. It just became unsustainable. And then along the way, new technology evolved that allowed me to give it ideas instead of giving it lines of poetry. It's beautiful. Thank you, Emily. I do still think there's value in me reading them, and I do change a lot of it as well, right? Like there's an iterative process. There's not just a, okay, do it and then it's done. There for me has to still be value in it for it to be shared, you know. So thank you for sharing the value right back with me. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. Do subscribe. I'm gonna start up the horizontal one next. Finish this vertical one for now. I appreciate ya. See you again soon.